Hello, here is Gimhae National Museum, and we are displaying about Gaya culture and history and artifacts of all of the history in Gaya. So I want to explain the Gaya culture without my mask to give a best pronunciation for in English. Sorry about that. Thank you. So let's go inside. I want to explain and how to see our museum very well. So we are entering our National Museum. So the first floor and second floor we have right now. First floor we have a 3 room and second 4 rooms. At first we can see the ancient culture and about Gaya and how to develop and insist of the Gaya culture. And second floor we have the life of Gaya and pottery and iron culture and the marine negotiation with each other like Japan and China. So now we are in entrance of our National Museum. Mostly you can see like this chronological timetable to explain our culture from prehistory and ancient times and Shilla and the other Goryeo and Joseon dynasty. But sorry to say about that, we cannot see the culture of Goryeo and Joseon dynasty. We are concentrating on about 3 Kingdom age and even plus the prehistory times. So let's go inside with the prehistory times. And I will select some few kinds of selects about the typical types of Stone Age artifacts. I want to select these artifacts for the typical types to explain the negotiation with Japan and Korea. These obsidians in Korean Hongyoseok, but it looks like glass, but not glass. It's very sharp stone. Usually these kinds of artifacts discovered in around volcanoes. So in Japan there are many volcanoes at that time. So these kinds of artifacts was coming from Japan. So this shows us that and explain us about at those times to trade with each other or the people in here, these sites going to Japan and Japan people come to here. And so this is some negotiation or some interaction with each other, Japan and Korea. The time is coming from date from now, almost 10,000 years before. So it's very typical and very symbol of the artifacts at the times. This display about dolmen sites in Korean Goindol sites. This is tomb for the high-level person or the leaders of tribes at the time in Bronze Age. This quite different tombs style compared with this time, but inside the tombs there are many kinds of artifacts we could discover inside, like stone deserts and some bronze swords, and the other is potteries and some put together with the deceased body, some stuffs for the afterlife. Goindol dolmen is very difficult to make it, so many labors and much labors to use to make these tombs. So we can see that someone who has or who ordered this kind of tomb is very powerful leader or powerful tribes. This is the inside of Bronze Age. From now, date from almost 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. This is a very important artifact we discovered. The wooden ship, broken parts of a wooden ship we discovered in Changneung, Bibongli area. This is the very oldest in Northern Asia or even in the world, around 10,000 years ago from now in Neolithic age. When they make it, it's quite difficult because there is no any kinds of tools made of iron, so used by stone tools and to carving like this shape. This whole body is not the real one, the replica or duplication, but inside the broken part is a real one. It's very oldest and very important artifacts we discovered in the time of Neolithic age. We are displaying these two kinds of crowns. One is for Gimhae, Geumgwan Gaya area, but actually discovered in Busan. But the other one, Goryeo Gaya, discovered in Gyeongju province. Both of them were designated as national treasure, but not actually all made of gold, but it's gilt bronze gold. But Shilla Kingdom, there is the crown made of whole gold. This is very typical types of Geumgwan Gaya crowns, but we are not having all or many kinds of Geumgwan Gaya crowns. So it's very important to see or displaying about these crowns. So people coming to here, maybe they can see these national treasure crowns. I want to show you these artifacts. Looks like very beautiful, decorated with the bird shape. At first, we are seeing this as the war stuff to tackle down the enemy on riding the horse. But now we are seeing this as the ceremonial things. When they have some big ceremony, they are shaking these artifacts, and inside there are some triangle types of, there are some hole. Maybe they are shaking each other at the time, but now just stick to it. So decorated with birds means like they have the culture of worshipping or to worship the birds. So the bird-shaped artifacts, not even in here, but with potteries, or there are some bronze mirrors, or the other types of artifacts. There are many birds decorated on the artifacts, and this is one of them. These are the big jar or big potteries. It's not just like a smaller one. This like a big one is used as to store something like grains or some other stuff for the life. This big one to burning or make it is not easy, because like a big one, when firing inside the big kiln, may be broken out. These are just a survived one. But like this small mouth and long body, sometimes used as a jar coffin. When people dead, put inside with this jar, put together with the two jars, or some after gathering the bones of the human body and put inside. So very useful potteries of that time for the life. These are pottery stand to support the jar on top, and used as like in a big ceremony. They use like this one. Some people said this like some firing stuff, but not just the firing stuff. This is only for the standing the jars or standing the pottery on top. So used as in a big ceremony or some kinds of that events. When you look at this pottery stand, there are some hole like rectangular or triangle types of some kinds of windows. But this is for decoration, and the other one for burning very well inside and outside. So we can have the nice potteries from the kiln. That's why there are some hole or some kinds of windows in the body. There are some triangle or rectangular types. Yeah, we are displaying the human armor. We have two kinds of human armor types. One is for plain type, the other one is a string type. The weight is 4 or 5 kg, but at the time it's more heavier than this time because some kinds of parts are broken out or rotten. Each part connected with each other by nail, but the other one The string type is connected with each other by leather string. It's more flexible to move. Gaya is very famous for how to make iron tools. So making the iron tools and exporting that items to Japan or China. That's why we say the kingdom of the marine, because of they trade with each other, China and Japan. So that's why we say the Gaya is the Iron Kingdom. We are displaying about the culture, trade with China and Japan. We have a few kinds of artifacts from China, like a bronze mirror, and the other one for cauldron. This is not to boiling some food, it's for checking the volume. So 2 liters we can put inside. The other one from Japan, to decorate with the shield like this shape, and the other potteries from Japan. In China and Japan, it's very near to Korean Peninsula, especially for the southern peninsula of Korea. Gimhae is very near to Japan, so they are trade with each other with the ships. Also, we have the broken parts of wooden ships discovered in the area of the Gimhae city inside, not the outside of the sea. So this means the sea level is more higher than this time, so the ship could go to Japan and China easily. That's why the Gaya Kingdom has the big power to trade with China and Japan, and then they are negotiate with China and Japan to get the big power or stronger than before. Thank you for foreigners to come to our museum or who want to come to our museum. Our museum has many kinds of potteries displaying now, from the ancient time to Gaya culture. Maybe you can come to our museum, you can see many kinds of artifacts, and you can know about Korean history, about Gaya, and even ancient times.